Hello, everyone. Welcome to another Hayek Live. Today I'm here with Professor Hannah Hammer from Germany. She's a professor of Hayek Global College and a specialist in organizational psychology. And our live today, we're going to talk about a topic which is very important for the management of companies, which is talent retention. Just to give a quick overview of how important this is, there's a group of researchers who research the management practices all over the world in a practice called the World Management Survey. And one thing they did is they created objective criteria to determine what quality of management they could measure inside companies and how would they be able to compare one company to the other and practices in from countries to the other on average, right? And out of the criteria they listed managing human capital, which is the seniors management's efforts to attract talented people and talk about it, rewarding high performance, removing poor performers, promoting high performers, attracting human capital, and retaining human capital. So our talk today is about retaining human capital, right? What is the best way that you can address making your workplace an attractive place so that you can make people, not make people, but help people stay with you, which are people that are great talents, which are the ones that are worth it to keep around you. So Hannah, now the word is with you. Welcome.
Well, thank you, Edson. Welcome everyone to this talk. And yeah, what Edson already said, retaining human capital is really important for businesses because it is people that are our most valuable asset, right? They retain knowledge, they retain skills, they retain abilities that will be important for our business. So when they come into our businesses, then they already may have technical knowledge that they had from their course, from the faculty that they did, or they may have experience from other work that they already have done. But then when they come to our business and they start working with us, they will have new experience and they will get new knowledge, they will develop new skills along time. And when we are not going to get them to stay with us, then this knowledge is going to our competitors, right? So
Yes.
it is really important that we can actually retain this knowledge and skills within our business, so we can turn or become ourselves more competitive within the market.
Yes, I had an experience, Hannah, working at Uniceflag, where at some point let's say 80% of our IT department left to other places. And IT is obviously a place where there's a lot of, it's a very heated market, right? Because people are looking for IT talents all the time. And it was very costly for the company because we were building many tools, we were helping many departments within the company with their knowledges, and all of a sudden all these people were gone. What could we do to not have these types of situation, or are there any things that we can do as a company to make that better?
Yeah, well, we would have to understand first what make those people want to leave our business, right? What's making them unsatisfied within our business? Because I hear a lot of people saying, like within my acquaintance, well, I'm leaving because I have another opportunity, because I have other opportunities to develop myself within another business, and or I don't get along with my leader. I think that he is being abusive, or I think that actually the company is just exploring me, and I'm not. I'm like somehow a person that could be substituted by someone else. And if people do have those perceptions, then they also will commit less to the company, right? To the business. They will say, well, if it is so that I'm not so important, well, then I see where are other opportunities, and when those opportunities are coming up, then I'll see if I can actually get to them, you know.
Yes.
So at first we would have to understand what are the reasons that people want to leave, right? So there are several ones that I already cited by the examples, but then understanding those aspects that make people unsatisfied, then we have to work satisfaction. So if there's the problem is I feel that I do not have opportunities to develop myself professionally within this business. Well, do we have actually a career plan? Do we have opportunities for those people to develop? Or I don't feel acknowledged by my leader. But why do you don't feel acknowledged? Do you get a feedback? Are we having feedback processes within our business that may be favoring a sharing of experience, of competence? Or actually we are like in a culture that one is to say what's to be done, and the other one is to obey. This is some time of a leadership that people do not really like, you know.
Yes, and oftentimes the leaders who are doing this type of management don't realize that people are leaving because of the reasons that you just mentioned, which is like a culture of I demand and you obey. So therefore people don't feel recognized and they leave. And oftentimes we relate that to the salary, right? Well, like people are leaving because they're probably getting a better salary offer somewhere else. But what does psychology tell us about that, Hannah? You as a psychologist, is it all about the money people when people are in a job, or what else motivates people?
Well, money would be like, as we call it, extrinsic motivation, right? A motivation that comes from outside. So you get more money and you will be more motivated. I get you some more benefits and you will be more motivated. But is the work that I'm doing something that fulfills me? That would be really important as a psychological aspect of someone. Or does the work give me feedback? Does it satisfy me? Like let's say you're doing a project, you're developing a project, and you're like so proud of what you've done and what you have established, and then that's actually what you were asked to do. And then 2 weeks after you established everything, your leader or your superior says to you, oh, well, Hannah, or well, Edson, that's not at all what we wanted. Please do it all over again. You know, and then people will feel, psychologically speaking, they will feel like, well, but for what I've done all this effort, for what I've put all this effort within this project, if now I have to do all from zero, you know?
Yes.
So money is externally. I can say, well, how much money do you want? You're gaining X today, and tomorrow you want to gain 2X. Is this sufficient to motivate someone?
Yes.
Well, I have to see which are the work conditions, you know, and if others that are my competitors within the market aren't offering to these people different working conditions that are actually more motivating, you know.
Yes, and also if we stop to think about it, we spend more time at work or doing work-related activities now. Nowadays, we're spending more time at home because we're forced to be at home during the pandemics, right? But we're all doing more work-related activities during our day than anything else, right?
Exactly.
You spend some time during the weekends, and what is the money good for if your time is being spent at work? So people are not all there just for the money. They're there to also fulfill some type of expectation or purpose of life in whatever they're doing, right?
Yeah. I think they they actually want to realize to fulfill themselves, you know, within the project that they have, the objective that they have, and that's sometimes that can be sometimes tricky when we are like as managers, as leaders within a team, thinking that all what we are wanting or what we are valuing in our lives is also valuable for other people. So what I'm saying here is, for me, it might be very exciting to do some project and some extra hours because I'm so excited to do this project. But for someone that has children at home and that need also their attention, it might not be so motivating to do extra hours and to work over hours or to do this project, you know. It's you have to see what's the values of people, what they value in their life as well.
Yes.
Because if not, any benefit that you're giving to them might not be considered a benefit.
Yes. Just like to open here for the people seeing us. We have one guest. Just reminding also that this is being recorded. We're going to put it on YouTube. So just if you want to keep your cameras closed, there's no problem. Would you like to ask any questions for Hannah? See, David is online. Well, we can continue the conversation here. If you feel free to interrupt any time or send in the chat if you would like to ask anything specific. So what about talking about the good practices of people management, Hannah? What is the importance, for example, of feedback?
Well, if you get feedback to people, then they actually know what they've done, right? And that you are seeing that they are doing it, that they are knowing that you're perceiving that they are working, and that you, but you also give them a balance of what you were expecting and what they are doing. And when you give them this balance, then they actually can be developed. And this development that you do together, the professionals or the worker and you as a leader, as a manager, can be very valuable in terms of a bound that people have. And when we are talking about of bounding, then we are talking about effective commitment, and then we are talking also about retention of talents, because they feel like, wow, here I'm valued, I'm getting a feedback, and this feedback actually helps me to develop professionally.
Yes.
There is some question from David.
David, go ahead. I think your microphone. Yes, go ahead.
Good evening. Good afternoon, everyone. I had an episode in my professional career that gave me some, some troubles, because that creates me você teria como traduzir para ela, porque eu tô meio nervoso, acho que eu não vou conseguir falar inglês.
Posso traduzir, fica à vontade.
Obrigado. Então, eu tive um episódio na minha carreira profissional, isso foi há 2 anos atrás. E assim, esse episódio me deixou muito desapontado, entendeu?
Uh-huh.
Com a própria carreira em si. E isso fez com que eu largasse a profissão, entendeu?
Certo.
E eu queria saber se ela teria assim uma resposta sobre como encontrar novamente um desejo em trabalhar na área, entendeu? E foi motivado por uma questão meramente entre um superior, assim, ele trabalhava em uma área mais importante que a minha, mas éramos equivalentes, podemos dizer assim, entendeu?
Sim, sim.
Só que ele se achava como se fosse meu chefe e tentava minar o tempo todo o meu trabalho, entendeu? Isso me criou um desgosto pela profissão, entendeu?
Sim. É,
Era só isso.
Well, I think I'm going to resume what David is saying, right?
yes.
So David was talking about an episode of his life where, like 2 years ago, where he had an episode in his work that was actually really unsatisfying for him and demotivating because his I'm not sure a colleague, right? Because you said David said that it would be like that he was seeing himself as a supervisor, but he wasn't actually the supervisor, right? Isn't that?
Yeah, I think it was his colleague that would act like a supervisor, and he felt that this person was undermining his work all the time, and he had to leave a job where and he didn't feel comfortable with the whole situation. So he
Yeah.
I have to compliment. This episode caused me an anxiety attack that gave me some issues in my body. I
Oh, I
don't
understand.
I don't have many hours of sleeping in this time,
Mhm.
and I have manifestation of panic syndrome, and I don't have to contain.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you actually had this is not only about insatisfaction, right? This is also about how our work and how our relationships within our work affect our psychological well-being. Because when David's saying that this is actually causing him or had caused him insomnia, no,
Anxiety, ansiedade, anxiety.
yeah, no, anxiety, but insomnia is like sleeplessness.
Yes,
Yeah.
business.
So then he's saying this is something that affect him not only physically but psychologically. And then we have to see actually. Yes, I got you, David. He's saying here that he liked really to work in this area, but this is what made him really feel unhappy and demotivated for working in this area. So what I think what we have to understand is this is a characteristic of the work context of this professional area, or specifically in every area this will be like that. Like I'm not sure which is your area, and if you feel free to talk about it, but let's think that it could be we have a lot of um, uh, of studies that say that there are a lot of anxiety. There is a lot of anxiety within people that work in banks. You know, is it in all banks that it's like in all financial sector that we have this problem, or is this a problem specifically of the work conditions within the sector or within the organization that you worked? So then you have to re-signify not that it's your work or your professional area, but that we are actually talking about the organization and the relationships that you were having or that were built up within this organization, right? So what a psychologist in work and organizational psychology would do is that we would work which are your perceptions within your working area, your professional area, within this organization, and see which are the factors that impact your sleeplessness or anxiety, and then try to actually we signify and develop possibilities that you would be less anxious about them, or that they would less affect your sleep. This is depending also on which approach do you have to psychology. So you could.
I think what's important here, Hannah, too, is we have to look for something that we feel comfortable working with, right? In a place that we also feel good about, and we feel fulfilled and everything. So if David left the area where he was working, was probably the right decision, but we should consider more broadly what the lesson is. Well, David is a good talent that the company has lost, right? And what should the management have done? Maybe there's a colleague who was having communication problems with David, and as he said, undermining his work and everything. Maybe they should have opened a communication channel. We'd have to know a little more details about the story, but it's a case that if it happens in any given context, we should give a lot of attention, right? There's someone that's leaving and is having a lot of problems. He's having anxiety issues, and it's something that the company needs to take care of and put a very tight focus on these types of issues.
I think one issue for us to be to pay attention to is that most people, like, you could have a case as David, one is leaving, but you could have people that are staying, and those people that are staying, even though they are feeling the same way as David does feel, or having same consequence as David is showing, will they actually give you performance? Because they are like the workplace is like impacting them negatively, right? So you would have to think about what are those work conditions, because I think actually we are like thinking a lot of the individual. Like a lot of companies will say, well, there is some individual and the vulnerable, he is more vulnerable than other individuals, but we are not actually evaluating the work context. Mm-hmm. And that's, I think there is some question or some issue that needs to be addressed. We need to be more attentive to, or paying more attention to the work conditions.
Yes.
So what you were saying, how can I retain, or how can I make that they don't leave? I need to evaluate what is the work condition that is impacting people negatively, so that I can actually revert the situation so they will stay.
Yes. He said in the chat here that he was, this is ironical actually, he was a technic. I probably won't know the name in English, but he's the person in charge of the safety on the job, right? He's the assistant who takes care of all the safety on the job, and probably the person who was in charge of making sure that people were doing things safely and fulfilling their well-being on the job, right? And it's kind of ironical how he was the person who didn't have the safety on his job and was affected by some type of miscommunication at work, or something that didn't go the right way.
Yeah, I think this is about inconsistency, you know. Sometimes organizations are looking forward to get some acknowledgement for such as the great place to work, you know, GPTW. So then they want to show to everyone, this is about image, right? That this is a great place to work. We are like respecting our people, and we are impartial, and we have a lot of companionship. But then within the company, we are not practicing actually what we are showing people to be. And then you have what you have in David's case, that you have a safety, I'm not sure, security job worker or something that works on job security, that is actually having a bad consequence on job security, you know what I'm saying?
Yes,
I'm not sure if it makes sense to you.
No, it does make sense to me. What I think happens a lot is that companies, they know what the best practice is, or at least they know what should be the concept of the best practice. Okay, for example, we need to have safety on our job, so we need to hire the person and put him in charge of the role. We need to have compliance. So let's get an officer, let's hire someone and put him in charge of compliance. We need to treat people well. Let's get the HR department and put them in the HR department. But if everybody in the company, especially the leadership, is not convinced of the reasons why you have to have those things and actually make it become part of your culture, it's not going to happen. Just because you put people on the right place and you have an idea of what should be the best practice and you don't actually embed that in your culture, it's not going to happen. And we see that in everywhere, right?
Yeah, that's very true what you're saying about the culture, right? Cultural change is not going to happen because you're going to put some specialist within his place. So you have to work a lot of what people think and how people are actually what's the perspective of people on work safety, or on which is the case here, or on any other thing that could be important for HR, right?
Yes. He's saying that the profession. Why do you think the profession is hated by managers, David? Would you like to expand a little bit on that? He's saying that sometimes the managers don't like the profession of technical assistant.
One fact about that is because the profession was created by many, não me lembro da palavra agora, muitos burocratas do governo, né?
It's because it's mandated. It's created by law, right? It's a labor law. You have to have the profession.
Many government bureaucrats, and we had to fulfill the law in private companies.
Mm-hmm.
What is that? We are a private professional fulfilling government orders. Is why, because the managers hate the profession.
So what you're saying, they are actually thinking that your work is like somehow damaging or harming the work or the company's success. That's why they don't like it?
Yes, in many cases, because we are stolen in the shoes of the managers. It's kind of say like that.
Yeah, I see what you mean. It's because, well, you have what happens is you have a law that makes company hire. You have to, after a certain number of employees,
the managers are obligated.
The managers have to hire
to hire these professionals.
Yeah, they have to hire the professionals because of the law.
Yes.
And the professional has some power to investigate what the company is doing, by law, right? Because there's certain things, and then sometimes there's a conflict between what the manager wants and what the legislation wants, and then you're in the shoe that, well, I'm here to follow the law, and then my manager doesn't like what I'm doing here. So it's not that's another problem too, right? It's because you were hired, not because the manager wanted to hire you, because the law put you there.
Yes. It is like that.
So
it's a very complicated situation because we don't have the guilty of the law obligation. We don't have the choice.
Yeah.
The choice is from the managers. We have to fulfill the law.
Yeah.
And I don't know others professions, but the safety technician, I don't have the word of English.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
The safety officer, let's call the safety officer.
We are prosecuted in criminal and civil instance if we don't have the responsibility about we are doing in the company.
Yeah, so it's a big responsibility to be.
Yes, exactly, and that is a push and pull game, dangerous push and pull game. We had to enfrentar todos os dias, no caso.
You have to challenge that and be challenged by that every day.
Handle with this every day.
Yeah. Yes. So what would you do, David, if you were the manager? What would you have done to handle the situation in a better way?
Assim, eu posso falar em português, porque eu tô muito nervoso e não vou conseguir.
Fala em português e traduz, vai.
Então, é o seguinte, eu era contratado de uma outra empresa para essa empresa, entendeu? Havia a promessa de eu ser contratado. Eu recebia metade de um salário de uma pessoa que era contratada pela empresa final, entendeu? E eu só cumpria 4 horas por dia. Só que o problema não era só cumprir 4 horas por dia. O problema era a continuidade do meu trabalho. Porque se eu sou responsável por essa equipe, por exemplo, era uma empresa de mais de 300 funcionários, entendeu? Se eu sou responsável por essa equipe, então o meu trabalho deve ser continuado no período que eu estou ausente. Concorda?
Sim.
Então, se eu trabalho 4 horas por dia durante 5 dias na semana, à tarde, que era o período que eu não estava trabalhando, as pessoas deveriam seguir o plano que existe na empresa. E é tanto que a empresa, na época, estava estabelecendo o controle de qualidade, de saúde, segurança e meio ambiente. Ou seja, todas as ISOs em uma só. Imagina a loucura. Esse cara que eu falei, que era o cara que era equivalente a mim, mas ele estava em uma área superior à minha, é porque ele era o cara que estava implementando o controle de qualidade, a ISO 9001, a 14000, etc, etc. Só que assim, o problema não era o meu trabalho em si. Eu gostava do que eu estava fazendo. Nem da equipe, do gerente, etc. Não. O problema era que ele criava caso entre mim e a gerência, fazendo com que meu trabalho fosse mais dificultado, entendeu?
Entendi.
Eu não podia tomar as minhas decisões como profissional porque ele sempre queria estar à frente, porque ele se achava no direito de ser meu chefe, entendeu?
Entendi.
E aquilo estava me criando ansiedade. Eu ignorava, porque, bom, eu sou um cara modo antigo, eu ignoro as coisas até ver o ponto delas explodirem, né? Alguns homens têm essa particularidade. Porque eu digo assim, ele cria uma situação tão grave, mas tão grave, cara, que eu entrei em ansiedade e tive uma crise, um surto, que eu pensei que eu ia morrer, pô. Sério, entendeu?
Vamos lá, digamos que você é o dono da empresa. E o que você faria para resolver uma situação dessa?
Bom, não teria, eu acho que eu teria que chamar para conversar, eu e o cara, entendeu? E estabelecer quais seriam as diretrizes que os dois deveriam seguir, entendeu? Porque a profissão, o cargo do técnico de segurança naquela empresa já era estabelecido, já existia uma cultura, né, de hierarquia a respeito do cargo. Só que o problema é que ele era um cara como eu, fora da empresa, e novo, entendeu? E ele queria fazer com que a empresa toda seguisse as ideias dele, porque ele estava implementando a norma da qualidade, só que ele queria que a empresa seguisse outras diretrizes que não fossem as diretrizes da empresa. E o gerente permitia isso porque o dono queria que ele ficasse lá, entendeu? Então não tinha saída para mim. E fora que eu era mal remunerado, né? Porque eu não recebia um salário, assim, um salário completo que a profissão exige e tal. Eu recebia no mínimo o quê? Até uns R$ 600. Era como se eu fosse estagiário mesmo formado, entendeu? Aquilo eu achava inaceitável, mas também eu não podia falar nada porque eu estava iniciando e tal, entendeu? Só que o que foi a conta d'água mesmo foi que eu vi que a minha saúde estava sendo deteriorada por uma questão externa. Então eu peguei e disse, olha, vou cair fora.
Certo. E acredito que você fez bem. Let's translate so our public can understand in English too. So there was a conflict basically between his job and another manager who was in another position, who was not directly involved in his area, and because of that, he was undermining his work, and he couldn't get his work done, and that's the reason why he left. So that's an interesting case for us to put ourselves in the shoes of the director or the owner of the company, right? If you're like David working as an assistant in this type of company, your interventions are limited. You could talk with your manager to see what you can do. Maybe you can get heard by a director, but you're probably not going to go much places. But it's an interesting exercise for us to think about management. If we can put ourselves in the shoes of what would the director do, right? And then I'll put that question for Hannah. What do you think would be good practices for us to deal with this type of situation?
I think the first thing that we have had to analyze is something that David actually just said, that the director wanted the manager to stay there, and wasn't that what you said? That
the owner of the company. The owner of the company, the manager are different persons.
Yeah. So, but he wanted him to stay at the company. So it didn't matter for him to have a not good alignment of culture, right? Because there were some rules on upper management level, and some rules or other rules on a mid manager level, if you wanted to say so. So I think seeing that, we would have to see what are actually the politics and the rules that we want to align to here. You know, which will be the norms of our organization and how we are going to implement them, right? And then you have to do a intervention on or something like a talk, a reunion with the people that are managers within the organization, so you can align them. And then once again, you would have to see how everyone is doing in every area within the organization. So you would actually come from the top and then see what's happening in every sector, right? And this is a continuous feedback. But I'm not talking here about, oh, you're doing wrong, but what could you actually do better, or what do you want, to see how we can actually together get to the vision, to the mission of the company, right?
Yes. Just to complement what you said, Hannah. Every company owner, every director should look for results, right, in your company. That's the main thing. We should look for results that add value to your customer, so that you create value to your community and everything. That's the way to create value. To create results in an ethical way, you will always have to create some type of value. And you also have to understand that you're also in a context of legislation, and you have to follow the rules. So in this type of situation, probably the directors weren't seeing the value that his work was doing, which was just to verify the safety condition of the workers. But you have to follow you have to follow the rule, and two, you could very well use his skills and his job to add value to the company and the safety of the workers, so that the workers feel safer and they contribute more to the company's culture and their missions and values, and create value in the end, right? So
exactly.
I believe it's a matter of it's just a mindset of using the tools that you have, and if you have a situation where you're forced to do it, use that in your favor, right? Use the tools that you have, even though you're forced to do it. You might as well make a lemonade out of lemons and create the things out of it. So that's something I would like to share.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. You know, what's the final outcome that you want to have as a company? You want to create value for your company itself, and value for the customer, the client that you'll have. But how are you going to create a value? You need to align everyone that's within the company, so they can create value together, like determined by some objective or aim that they would have, you know.
Yes, exactly. And let me go over the questions here. What we mentioned here, let's just take another step here. We talked about knowledges, skills, and abilities. What's the difference between these three, Hannah?
Yeah, so knowledge would be something technical that you can actually also like would be the studies that you did at faculty or something, or in textbooks or in articles or studies that you've been reading. It's the technical knowledge that you have on what you're doing. Skills would be the applied knowledge. So you're going to see how you're going to apply this technical knowledge that you have, how you're going to transfer it to your work. And that's actually what a lot of organizations are looking for, are the skills and not only the technical knowledge. And those skills that are most important to be retained within our organization, because they are based on experience, on knowledge, socialization, and so on. And then abilities would be something like talents that are like not that you are born with it, but you have like a higher level of, let's say, logical thinking, or a higher level of intelligence, and that actually helps you to develop knowledge and skills.
Yes.
So
that ties in nicely, right, to the courses and the innovations that we're trying to do in our courses, because we're not only teaching knowledge, right? We want people to develop the skills and abilities that they require in the job. And it's would you like to talk a little bit about how we were going to develop your skills in the course that we're opening on the people factor with you?
Yeah, so we are going to open a course on this topic of people factor, right? And we are going to develop the practical skills by deliverables that would be like evaluating or as constructing some program within an organization on how you could develop people, how you could retain people, how you could improve their well-being within the organization. And so we are going to discuss several aspects that are important, psychologically speaking, for people within organizations. So motivation, emotion, stress, quality of life, career opportunities, and going to apply them within project that you yourself are going to develop. And that could be actually projects that you apply to your companies, or that you apply to consult some company that you're working with.
Awesome. So let me see if I understand here as a layman, not non-psychologist, trying to get a feel of what this course is going to be all about. There's probably two ways to learn something, right? One is to sit in front of a computer and see a video. Another is to read a book, and then you get the knowledge, but you haven't really applied it. Another is to actually apply it and put your shirts up and say, I'm going to go to work and actually be challenged and do something. And the best way is actually learning by doing, right? And that's how we retain the most amount of knowledge. And that's what our courses are going to be all about. So we're going to put more information here on the course. And it's in our website. You can do the selection process. It's pretty simple, and it's going to be part of the Hayek MBA, which Hayek Global MBA, where we're seeking to do a truly international experience. And the program is officially accredited by the Ministry of Education in Brazil, by MEC. So it's a very innovative program, officially recognized, that we're going to have also international students join us from other countries. And we have international professors such as Hannah teaching the course. And we're looking for the highest quality education possible. And to talk about real cases, for example, what we saw today with our guest, David, where he had some trouble in his company, and the majority of the companies don't practice good management, right? We see that in practice. We see that in the literature with the World Management Survey, and it's shown a case by case. And what that means for you is that if you learn those abilities, those skills and knowledges that you need to become good manager, you're going to have a lot of opportunities. And that's where we come in to help you to develop these abilities, to take advantage of those opportunities. So you're all invited to see our courses and subscribe. Also, we're going to do more lives like this. Please like our video right now and subscribe to our channel, and send your suggestions for other lives, and we'll be glad to help. Professor Hannah, any closing remarks?
Thank you for your participation, and I see you in our course.